fun little late night question for you guys. Could the Toronto Raptors legitimately win the NBA Finals in this upcoming season? Well, if we're being frank, I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. If the Golden State Warriors didn't win their fourth ring in 8 years, who would be on top? The Boston Celtics, with all the turmoil they've gone through this offseason, and like they were 20-21 by All-Star break, or by the halfway point of the season last year. The Milwaukee Bucks. My point is this. Outside of the Golden State Warriors, there's no clear dominating team in the NBA, and the Golden State Warriors themselves have a bunch of question marks. You know, how much longer do we have of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green on the same team? How much longer of this type of all-star championship caliber production will we get from that big three? Are they going to pay Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins? Are they going to be able to retain both of them? Is their young talent going to step up? My point is the NBA is pretty open. And it's been pretty open since the last Los Angeles Lakers title. And one could argue that was really open because it was the bubble and nobody really knew what was going on. But when we have the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks face up against each other like two good teams, but I don't feel like either of those teams were going to dominate the league for years to come. Golden State, Boston Celtics. I definitely don't feel like the Boston Celtics, regardless of the offseason turmoil they had, were going to dominate the league for years to come. Golden State, I'm still hesitant on. The Toronto Raptors are one of the most enticing, intriguing teams in the entire league. But before we get into it, if you guys enjoy it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We haven't had a video hit over 100 likes in months. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button if you guys enjoy this video. Obviously, don't like the video if you don't enjoy it, but if you enjoy this video and you want more Raptors, more daily NBA content, go ahead and hit that like button. My buddy Ciro was telling me, yeah man, unless you have like maybe 20,000 subscribers, you should probably post as much as you possibly can. And I was, the last like 4 months I've been posting once every couple of days to try and just get people more involved in it, and it just didn't work. So we're going back to Raptor Nation because I love the Toronto Raptors and the fan base is absolutely amazing. I've talked about it time and time again, so I don't want to run your ear off, but we're looking at Toronto right now, and they made some phenomenal moves in this offseason and at last year's trade deadline acquiring Thaddeus Young. You also picked up Otto Porter Jr. Now, I know Otto currently is going through some injuries. Hopefully that isn't gonna stick with you for the duration of this upcoming season. Now, if the Toronto Raptors want to win the championship, you're gonna need some things to come true. I'll name some of these things. You don't need all of them. Number one, though, you're going to need both Pascal Siakam and Freddie VanVleet to continue doing what they're doing. And by continuing doing what they're doing, I mean Pascal Siakam, if he was on a team like the Boston Celtics or the Philadelphia 76ers, I think Siakam would be viewed as a borderline superstar. He's an all-star. 23, 9, and 5 last season. Well, guess what? He's a couple of points away from the same statistics as a guy like Jaylen Brown. So Pascal Siakam is a stud. He's a star. He's an all-star. Maybe if he was on a different team in a different market that, no disrespect to Canada, but I don't think I need to explain to you why the NBA would not show as much love to a team like the Toronto Raptors as opposed to a team like the Los Angeles Lakers or the New York Knicks. I don't need to explain that to you, right? So you have Siakam, you have Freddie, both two all-stars right there, 20 points per game. Freddie last season, 24 and 7. Well, guess what? That's a lot of talent. So all I need from both of those two players is, first off, health. Because we had Freddie nursing that hamstring towards the end of the season, and it just came back to bite him because of the lack of depth. Pascal Siakam started the year off injured, but remained relatively healthy for the remainder of the season. But once we got into the playoffs, what was it? Well, everybody was injured. It was either Freddie or Gary was sick or Scotty Barnes was injured. Whatever the case was, a lot was relied on Pascal Siakam. And when you're playing a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to put a good defender on you, and they're also going to double team you. So Siakam was double teamed time and time again in the series in the playoffs against Philadelphia. It started a little shaky, but he really got a hold of it as Toronto also got healthy. So you just need the continual production from your two main dudes. Now, moving on down the line, Gary Trent Jr., well, what I saw in their first preseason game was he's picking up right where he left off. Gary Trent Jr. actually led the league in steals for a good portion of last season. 18, 3, and 2. It's not always going to be pretty, and it's not always going to be consistent, but all I really need Gary to do is the same exact thing. If Gary were to get up to a 20-point-per-game score, which is definitely in the cards, well, that's even more reason for the NBA to be concerned. Scottie Barnes, 15, 8, and 4, Rookie of the Year. All I need for Scottie is to pretty much do at least what he did in the second half of the season, which was about 17 points, still giving you 8 rebounds, still giving you 4 assists. But I would like to see, and I anticipate this because of Toronto Raptors' track record, specifically with guys like, well, even new addition Thaddeus Young, but guys like Precious Achiuwa turning into three-point shooters, 40% three-point shooters actually for half of a season. I just need Scottie Barnes' three-point percentage next season to start with a 3. Because Scottie Barnes could easily be a 20-point-per-game scorer, but it might boil down to if he's knocking in those three-point shots. Chris Boucher, Kem Birch, Otto Porter Jr., Thaddeus Young, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, hopefully Juancho Hernan-Gomez, they're all going to do their thing. They're all going to do their role. Chris Boucher started the season last year a little bit shaky, but he definitely was critical to them in, outside like the first couple of months and, even at times in the first couple of months, but especially towards the end of the season heading into the playoffs. He's an integral piece of this Raptors squad, right? Well, I need just a few more things. I need the continual development of Precious Achiuwa. That's it. 9, 7, and 1 last season were Precious Achiuwa's stats. I'd even take at the worst 10 and 8. We don't know necessarily if Precious is going to be a starter for this Raptors squad this upcoming season. But either way, I just need to see the continual development and progression of him and an increase in stats, increase in production, efficiency, defense, etc., etc. OG Anunoby, you might need a jump from him, but you don't necessarily need OG Anunoby to take that next leap offensively speaking. OG Anunoby last season, although he only played about half of the year, 17, 6, and 3. That's perfectly fine for me for being a starter with 3-and-D, 40% three-point shooter, can switch on to pretty much any player in the NBA, one of the best 3-and-D guards that is offered. I would love an OG Anunoby jump, and I'm anticipating an OG Anunoby jump, but I don't necessarily need it to make the championship. What I do need, especially though, is I need Malachi Flynn or Delano Banton, but I'm putting my money on Malachi Flynn because he's a little bit older. I need him to solidify, not just play to the level here and there. I need Malachi Flynn to solidify himself as a backup point guard in this league. What I mean by that is his averages last year, 4, 1, and 2. That's not doing it for me. I need double digits. I don't care if it's 10.1, 10.0, 10.2, 10.3. I need double digits, and I need a doubled assist number. All of those things grouped with health will give the Toronto Raptors a legitimate shot at the NBA Finals. Now, long term, they look even better because of the continual development and progression of these young players, but also, they've been rumored to bring Shea home recently with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll see what happens, but this is a big year for Toronto because if they don't make a deep playoff run, that's when you might start looking at guys like OG Anunoby and being like, well, OG, I love you, but we might have to get rid of you. And I hate to use OG as the scapegoat there, but hopefully you get what I'm saying here. Toronto easily could be a finals team next season. All you need is health and the continual progression and development of your players. And coming from the Toronto Raptors coaching staff, I'm really not all that worried. So let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NBA videos. And if you want more Raptors content, try to get this video to 100 likes, and I'll see you guys later.